and strong coffee. Cheerios and strong coffee for me. Cheerios and strong coffee. 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 Cheerios and strong.
All right, cool. We're live on Facebook as well as YouTube. Making sure on Facebook, if you want to confirm that I'm live, that would be great.
And strong coffee. And strong coffee. And strong coffee. And strong coffee. And strong coffee.
Nice. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Becca. Hi, Kim. Tom's in the house. Lori, steel cut oats with raisins.
And strong coffee.
Like, what does that mean? Steel cut oats. Like, what is the machine that?
And strong coffee.
Yeah. Hey, Sean. Nice. Okay, cool.
And strong coffee. And strong coffee.
Nice. All right. Hello and welcome to, oh yeah, the camera's right there. Hello and welcome to Cup of Joe, episode number 2, your weekly dose of wholesome fun and spiritual nourishment. I am your host, Joe Kai. I am a violinist looper, and you guys know me. I make stuff happen, and that's also why tone service is important, because there are people who will come and drag you forward Yeah, like the towing service. You probably don't actually want to hire me to actually tow things because like I'm not like super strong. So this is a metaphorical towing service that we're curating here. Moment of gratitude. As always, every week I have a moment of gratitude. This week, my moment of gratitude goes for everyone out there who has had a difficult conversation about anti-racism with whether that's with a friend, whether that's with a family member. Um, yeah, it's a lot of emotional work. There's a lot of baggage involved in that. So thank you. I am grateful for that conversation that you have had. Just a reminder to share this live stream, fling it wide on the internet so that we can like grow this thing. We can grow Cup of Joe and make it a thing. You know, like this, like make good stuff happen. Hi, Ayana, Ionic Bond, Matt Smith. I love the new logo too by Sam Shin. Nice. Cool. Our theme today is allyship. Yeah, what does it mean to be a good ally? How can we do that well? So as my guest, I have Sacramento Poet Laureate and guerrilla poet Andru Defeye. Andrew, are you there? Can you wave for us? Yes, ZFG, Soul Collective in the house. Nice. Andrew will be back in just a jiff. Yeah, with some stuff. So first, though, we have the Kids Corner. It was really important for me to make this show an all ages show because I think these are important conversations and also like feelings that we can all, you know, come together and do things. So Will and Theo are tuned in. Nice. That's a good thing because this part of Kids Corner is brought to you by Will and Theo, who made an awesome request for a song about farts. So I was like, okay, how do I do this? And I was like, well, just do it. So I have a looping set up for those of you who do not know what looping is. It allows me to record something and then, you know, manipulate it and record it over it, et cetera, et cetera. Over here, I also have my Ableton setup, which allows me to record things and then do the following. So first, I need a good fart sound. So if you're eating right now, haha. Here we go. That's a good one. Classic. So I'm going to record this fart sound. Ready? Okay, that's enough. And I'm going to drop it into a sampler, which takes that recorded sound and boop, and a boop, and makes it playable. So, you know, we have the original one, and then I can, you know, like use this keyboard to play notes with this fart sound. So now that we have created the instrument, the fart. What's the instrument name? I need help here. If everyone who is here, if you have a name for the fart instrument keyboard thing that we're going, please post it on the comments so we can all agree what this instrument is about. All right. Oh, hi Heather on YouTube. Yeah, yogurt, toast, and chorizo. Great. All right. So the fart instrument. Yet to be named. So here we go. 2, ready, and. everywhere. Sure you can't see them, but they're floating in the air. Farts, farts, farts are everywhere. Cute ones, juicy ones, ones that leave you scared. Farts, farts. And then, sometimes you smell them. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes they come unannounced. Sometimes they need to be coaxed. Sometimes you smell them. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes they come unannounced. Sometimes they need to be coaxed. Farts, farts, farts are everywhere. Sure you can't see them, but they're floating in the air. Farts, farts, farts are everywhere. Cute ones, juicy ones, ones that leave you scared. You've got the cheese farts, you've got the kimchi farts, you've got the fish farts, and you've got the tofu farts, you've got the garbanzo farts, you've got popcorn farts. All I know is farting is an art. Farts, farts, farts are everywhere. Sure you can't see them, but they're floating in the air. Farts, farts, farts are everywhere. Sure you can't see them, ones that leave you scared. Nice. Farts are hilarious. So, oh wait, okay, let's see. Wind piano. Ooh, wind piano. I like that, Mark. Here we go. Fartstrument, fartsichord. Fartsichord is awesome because I imagine like a wig, and like the ruffles, and then like people farting. So, air horn, classic. Fartstrument, the fartstrument. A tutor. Tutor's the nickname, clearly. Yes. Whoopie pie. Whoopie pie. Nice, nice. Ooh, little crackle. Cool. You gotta write it out. You gotta write out the crackles. Close this up. Bada bing. Shoop. And freeze that track. All right, and we're back. Thank you so much for the young listeners out there for that wonderful suggestion. If you have suggestions for future songs, things that I can make songs about, or sound effects that you wish that I could make, that I could make and then make into a song, or if there's a song that you love, like 2 weeks ago, Evan, a 5-year-old from Portland, Oregon, requested "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," so I did that. So this is your corner. Please, if you have any suggestions, post them in the comments here. Nice, moving right along. Okay, please, if you see right here, I believe it's on this side, there is a Venmo link at Joe Kai. There's a PayPal link, joe@joekai.com. The first name will come up as Hyun, Hyon, which is my legal middle name now. It's my Korean given name. Please support, because your generosity makes this program continue. So please give. And of course, share. Tray share. All right, we're going to Allyship. A little bit of a story time. So this will be a story about the opposite of allyship. And then also if you're not a good ally, what can happen. So I was in college. This was late night after we'd been partying, going to lots of fun parties, and we entered Ivy Noodle, which is this awesome institution, a Chinese restaurant that really anyone who went to Yale went to. And we were sitting there. I was eating probably with my a cappella buddies, singers. We sing. And in walked in a friend of mine. His name we'll say is Bob. And Bob had joined a fraternity. It was a pretty good fraternity, nice people. They were really into community service. And they sat down to eat, and his friend, Bob's friend, so Bob was Asian American like me, and we had met at our Cultural Connections orientation. We talked a lot about racial justice and social justice, et cetera, et cetera. It was fantastic. When we sat down to eat, his white friends started talking in a fake Chinese accent, and then they took their chopsticks and started kind of like picking at Bob, and I think it was a joke, obviously, because they were laughing, and also Will was laughing too. I felt uncomfortable watching it because not only for Bob but for the waitstaff as well. Like here are these young men making fun of Chinese immigrants. And it's a story that reminds me that it's a hard one to tell because I didn't do anything. I actually just sat and watched, and also internally judged. I judged Bob for not standing up to his friends. I judged his friends as well, who were so inappropriate in making fun of Bob. Yet I didn't do anything, and I let that happen. And I think if you're a good ally to someone who is hurting, you have to step in and say something. Even if they might be laughing it off or uncomfortable, if you feel like something is inappropriate, you should say something. And they might tell you, oh, I don't need that. But stepping in and speaking on behalf of justice, I think, is very important. So that's a story that I carry with me, and that's also something that I think many of us are trying to do right now, which is to confront when people are being bullies, when people are being racist, and try to talk to them about how that's not right. So this song is called "Stick on Me," and it's about that. It's about how do we engage in those difficult conversations. I think first we have to take care of ourselves and make sure that we take care of our injuries, and then we reach out, even though there's a lot of risk involved. So here we go. Kristen, I'm going to turn the sound up a little bit here.
Yes, so I have been with you, but I know not where we go. No, I am no longer scared, but I find that I'm reaching for the glue. So stick on me and go lick your wounds, and we'll grow together. So stick on me and go lick your wounds and we'll know each other. Hopefully the volume is back up. Here we go. Still chasing the other you, but it's just some foolish goal. Losing my sleep to you, but if you're stealing my dreams, I'll let you go. So stick on me and go lick your wounds and we'll grow together. So stick on me and go lick your wounds and go grow together. Together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together. Together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together. Together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together. Together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, grow, together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby, lick your wounds, together, 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 stick on me, yes baby, stick on, lick your wounds, yes baby,
Nice. I've never ended it like that before. It was the EDM version of the ending. Hey Doug, what's up? William Turner in the house. Nice. Wayne. All right. Great. I'm glad that the sound issue was resolved. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're ready. We're ready to move on to our guest. Mr. Andru Defeye is Sacramento Poet Laureate. But before that, he he's got a heart of fire. I remember when I lived in Sacramento, I was always so inspired by his ability to organize these thinkers and poets and all of these people together to express. Yeah, so you are all very, very much in for a treat. He's an arts organizer, guerrilla poet, and social activist. Please, at home, give a warm round of applause for Mr. Andru Defeye. And I'm changing my headphones. Huh. Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm almost through the juice, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm getting better. You'll see me hit 100% as this empties.
What's in there?
Today we got some spinach, we got kale, we got bananas, we got blueberries, we got some pineapple and some strawberries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spinach and kale.
Yeah. I like a good. If you do too much kale, it gets a little too grainy and too hard. Like the spinach softens it up. You know, I've worked a balance over many years.
Nice. I'm all about the balance. So for those of our listeners out there that don't know you, if you could do us a favor of identifying yourself, how would you like to identify yourself?
Man, I'm Andru. I do a lot of things. I'm a creative. I try to be as creative as possible. Some of these things I do creatively, I do really well. Others of them, I do not at all well. But I enjoy all of them. I would say my best identifier is I'm a professional failer. Not a professional failure. I'm a professional failer, which means I have failed at a lot of things professionally and learned how to do a lot of things through those failures.
Yes, mistakes. If you could, so recurring question for all of the guests, and by all the guests I mean two, because you're the second one. What is your earliest memory?
Man, let's see. My earliest memory goes back to a birthday. I couldn't tell you if it was like a first or a second, but I know that there was this Ninja Turtle cake, and it had Michelangelo on the cake, and that was the year that I got the Ninja Turtle van. To actually put everything in, because I had the turtles, but they didn't have a way to get around. And the Foot Clan was over on the other side of town. It was a whole thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely that one like comes to mind. You know, we talked earlier this week about that question, and it really took me a lot to like dig and find like what that memory was. You know, I think we block out so much. You know, I had a little bit of a traumatic youth, so it was like kind of digging through some of those things as well, and trying to find, you know, some of the things that have been hidden. So that was a great question. It sent me on a whole adventure.
I live to serve, Andrew. Towing service right here, towing you back into your memory. Cool. We're gonna do a collaboration. Honestly, I mean, it's been so awesome to see. Well, you're someone who I've always considered an ally, and you're talking about professional failing, and you're constantly putting things out there, rethinking things, getting feedback, and it's this beautiful loop, I think, where we're all learning thanks to your ability and willingness and courage to learn publicly. So yeah, I'm excited to collaborate with you. You want to introduce what we're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, we're living one of my dreams because I get to collaborate with Joe Kai right now. First and foremost, I've been having just a lot of thoughts in watching. You know, I'm 35 and not getting any younger, and I've been out in the protest scene since 2002, and heavily involved doing this work. But just seeing this new generation and seeing the youth and the energy that they're bringing and the way that they're organizing and the way that they've centered joy and love in their movement, it's so beautiful to me. and it's been really an experience to stand back and watch the youth, and realize, like, for the first time, I don't consider myself one of the youth. I consider myself one of the OGs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to listen as much as I'm talking. I don't think we have. If we had the answers, then the problem would already be solved.
Sure.
So I think looking at the youth, I've just been really inspired, and listening to them talk in the way that they break these ideologies down. They have such a better understanding, and it's like they were born with a better understanding than we were. So I've been really reflecting on that, and just this idea I've been talking to a lot of people about, that World War III is love versus fear. Versus not having a specific enemy, and it's not over land, and it's not over race, and it's not over any of these things. It's love versus fear. So, when you hit me up, I was like, I'm gonna write that poem. I'm gonna try and write that poem. So this one's for the youth, for the babies. Yes. We love y'all. We sitting here. We're just here to pump the gas. You tell us where we're going.
Awesome. Take it away.
These are just notes on rhythm and harmony. World War III is love versus fear, and we don't even have the right words. We're just making way for the ones who do. You, who deserve so much more than justice, than liberation, who deserve so much more than freedom. They don't hear me. These are such small words. Freedom comes with a need to be freed from. They have deemed peace something to keep rather than something to give away. Something about the divine balance feels closer. Holy Father, we pray. Holy Father, we pray. Holy Father, don't you forget how holy my mama is. My friend Harley says the reconciliation is being live streamed in real time, and that word found home in my bones. Revolutions happen daily, however televised. I don't want to be revolving when I leave here. I want to be reconciled. We are answering the equation of us, struggling with the remainders, grasping at words just past our tongues. These kids don't need our letters to spell. They understand. Sometimes mouths don't always call the same name, hearts do. Let them pray in their own tongue. Watch how ancient the dances get. These kids know the right words aren't words at all. They are notes and rhythm and harmony.
Yes, please give it up for Andru Defeye. Yeah.
And the love.
There was a phrase in there, just past the tip of our tongue. Was that?
Yeah. And that's how it feels. We feel like we're rewriting everything right now. And part of that is having these words. Something I thought about. A lot of that was inspired by Harley White Jr. in a conversation we had earlier this week, where he said, the revolution won't be televised, but the reconciliation is being live streamed in real time. And just that word, reconciliation, it hit me so differently than revolution, right? Like revolution, it is just an orbit. It's exactly that, a revolution. But this reconciliation and this idea of reconciliation, and then I went even further into that, like something has to be conciled and then unconciled in order to be reconciled, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so looking at these
Were we
words and
ever
really
reconciled?
exactly, and you look at when people say,
Hmm.
we want freedom, but freedom implies that there's something to be free from.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like this isn't. And as I started really thinking, I'm a musician as well, and I use that term really lightly.
Sure.
But the idea of harmony, right? Like that's what I want. I want harmony.
Sure.
And to really just like I said, I don't know if it's words. I've never heard someone play a riff and someone misunderstand it
Yeah.
the way that we do with words. So the music is so important.
I
My elders never let me forget that.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I love harmony. It's been something that I've been thinking about a lot, which is that for a harmony to exist in music, you have to have multiple voices playing different notes. And the best harmonies are when all of these notes they're at the same level. Because once you have one note that's much louder than the rest, then the harmony doesn't ring. It doesn't. You don't. There's that harmonic space where you're just like, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and when one voice is way too loud, the harmony suffers. So how do we? I mean, how do we become a better ally? You were talking about freedom. How do we, as non-black and brown people, and of course this is your opinion, and there are many out there, but
Absolutely.
how, for you, what is allyship? What is allyship to you?
Allyship for me starts and ends and stops at the middle several times at listening to black and brown leaders, and making sure that you're taking those pieces of guidance, that we're not coming in and having an idea. As a white man, I can have an idea about, maybe this would be helpful, but I don't have the black experience behind that. So that's definitely, rule one for me. Rule two is stay in your lane. Everybody has a job, and finding what that job is for you, and what your spirit speaks to, for some of us, that means being out on the protest lines and having the signs and standing in the cops' faces. It also means if you're going to be out at protests, that you understand your lane there. Because we, as non-black and brown folks, we're there to put our bodies in between the police and our black and brown family. We're there to find anyone instigating, anyone who doesn't have the love for our black and brown family at the center of their heart. So we have roles even out there. But if you're not out and about, so I have a special autoimmune. I have a special edition immune system, I like to say.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been able to be out at all these actions, but finding ways to educate folks, right? Like there were a lot of folks who didn't know about Juneteenth, didn't know about Tulsa, didn't know about Black Wall Street. So as we learn these things, it's important that we're sharing these things, and that we're educating, and that we're patient in our education, right? Like, for black and brown folks, they've been oppressed for 400 years. So they're tired of trying to educate folks. And so I get it when they're like, I'm just blocking people and defriending people. But it's on us to change those minds. It's on us to do that work and be patient with each other. Don't get so high and mighty in your own allyship that you start writing people off that are just getting here. Everybody's welcome and everybody's needed in this. So if you work in media, we need allies in media. If you create media, we need allies to create media. If you make food, there's a lot of people out there protesting right now who are really hungry. So
I love. I mean, everything that you're saying to me, it revolves around service. Like, I think one of the kind of lines of thought that we've had for a while is the idea of saviorism. Like, we will save the oppressed. We will save the black and brown people. And I mean, especially your kind of not even metaphor. You're just saying, like, when you're at a protest, if you're white, like, use that privilege as a shield. And to me, my mind immediately went to like a chessboard and like, let us be pawns right,
Yes.
to our king,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
As
Yes.
right, as opposed to like we have the power and like let's be like pat ourselves on the back because we're the savior, you know, etc.
Listen, let's be real honest. We can't be saviors because we the ones who put people in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was our ancestors and these systems that put people in danger. So we can't be saviors. You know what I mean? That's not like that. Like you're still a supervillain if you put the hero over a volcano and then you pull him out. You know what I mean? So it's and on allyship, you know, allyship is good and it's a good word, but right now, like it's time to be accomplices. You know, it's time to step it up beyond, you know, making a donation and waving a sign, like, you know,
Accomplice.
yeah, yeah,
Like you're
and
scheming, like you're in the scheme, you know? Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Where if black folks get charged with freedom,
Huh.
then I want to be an accomplice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want to get charged with that too.
Sure.
So really looking at that, I think for white folks specifically, one of the things that changed my life was finding my own culture and rejecting whiteness, right? Because white isn't a culture. We didn't come from Whitelandia. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors were German, they were French, they were Basque, they were Italian. They have culture. This white isn't a culture. White is a construct made to oppress people. So find your own culture, find your own ancestors. You know what I mean? Like that was so crucial to me in understanding, because that allowed me to see that when people were attacking whiteness, and this white people do this and white people do that, that doesn't offend me. Because they're commenting on whiteness.
Right.
That's not my identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my ancestors were German and English, and they were stolen by whiteness. They had their culture stolen by whiteness. There's a reason that I don't know my ancestors' drums, or I don't know my ancestors' prayers, and that's because of whiteness too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's us understanding, especially that this stole our culture as well.
Which is why I think in the face of that, like we have to destroy whiteness, right? So that we have access to those, and that, you know, when I hear something like that, like, oh, like my ancestors were Vikings, like immediately, like just my gut reaction as a person of color in America is like, ooh, like this, right? Because I think whiteness is the identifier that supersedes all of those different peoples.
Right.
So that's why, I totally agree. Please follow Andrew on Facebook, as well as all of the other things. For example, Soul Collective is an awesome collective of artists that Andrew has organized. It's based in Sacramento, broadcasts everywhere. Soul Collective, that's SOL collective.org. And of course, your website, Gorilla Poet, that's with 2 R's and 2 L's. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you for your piece, and may we dismantle whiteness, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick shout out to Soul Collective and the whole team over there. You can find out everything at solcollective.org. I'm but a small piece of that team. I came along after the vision had already been manifested. Estella Sanchez, Anin, Dom, Chico, Gabi, all of the OGs had really been out here and creating that space, which includes the Sacramento Activist School, which includes a lot of resources for the community, whether it's, you know, dropping off food to folks who need it in the times of COVID, or whether it's some allyship and you know, activism training and education. Make sure you stop by Soul Collective, solcollective.org.
Yes. And with that,
we had 100%.
Yes. Awesome. Andrew, thanks so much for being on here. Peace.
Beams.
Yeah. Awesome. And we're back. Man, Andrew he's a real thinker. I appreciate him so much. Going to Skype here. And quitting Skype, and we're back. I have a little buy local section every episode of Cup of Joe, and I do not get any endorsement fees or anything along those lines. Portland Fish Market has the best fish and chips in Portland, hands down. It's on Woodstock Boulevard. They have an awesome takeout window that has existed before COVID. If you're feeling the tug for some fish and chips, please go to Portland Fish Market. They also have amazing fresh fish that you can buy in the store as well. So you can order online, pay over there, and all they'll do is you go there and they'll call your name and you pick it up and eat delicious fish and chips. All right, let's take this down. One of the things that we always do is a cover request. This one is from Katrina Ketchum, and I think it goes with take responsibility, then dismantle. Yes, Daryl, yes. I heard colleagues into allies, allies into accomplices, which helped my vision of the flow. Yes, colleagues, it's like, colleagues into allies, and the allies into accomplices. I love that. Yes. Oh, awesome. I love this. I think it's important to talk about why allyship is cool, but accomplices are what we really need in the Black and brown community. Allyship says, yes, I love it. I just got goosebumps. I love that these conversations, they're meaningful for me. And so then to see that in the comments real time, it's a blessing to be able to do this. So thank you so much for having these discussions. Yeah, that was super edifying for me too. So, okay. Here we go. Katrina, thank you so much for the cover request. For those of you, I mean, this will be a recurring thing. So please make a request. Make a request in the comments and I will get to them. Here we go. Well, can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you the song is meant to keep you from doing what you're supposed to, like waking up too early. Maybe we could sleep in, make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. Or we could pretend it all the time. Can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But maybe like a ukulele, mama made a baby. Really don't mind the practice, cause you're my little lady. Lady, lady, love me, cause I love to lay here lazy. We could close the curtains, pretend like there's no work outside. And we could pretend it all the time. Can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Can't you see, can't you see? Rain all day, I don't mind. But telephone singing, ringing, it's too early, don't pick it up. We don't need to, we got everything we need right here, and everything we need is enough. Just so easy when the world fits inside of your arms. Do we really need to pay attention to the alarm? Wake up slow, wake up slow. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you the song is meant to keep you from doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep in, make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. And we could pretend it all the time. Can't you see that it's just raining? There's no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Ooh, dun, 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 dun. Nice, Jack Johnson's Banana Pancakes. I just picked that song up yesterday, and I realized that was one of the first songs that I ever learned to play on guitar and voice. Way back in high school, and it took a little time to unearth. Cool. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. please share Cup of Joe. If you have someone who you think will like this, please tag him here. Please share the stream on your social media page. It's also available on YouTube, so for those of you, for your friends who are not on Facebook, that's a really great way to go. Next week, I have Mike Bennett, who is an awesome artist here in town. He's a artist and public joy creator, is kind of how I like to put it. You don't want to miss this one. Please support this stream using the Venmo or the PayPal. It's how I can make sure that this continues to happen. So, And on that note, we're here for the last segment of Cup of Joe, which is the dance party. So here we go. Let's try something here. There it is.
This is the dance party. This is the dance party. This is the dance party. Woo! 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 This is the dance party. 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 1, 2, up. This is the dance party. 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 This is the dance party.
Nice. With that, episode 2 of Cup of Joe comes to a close. Peace be with us all.